why.
Why? Yeah.
It ties him directly with that, where he does the circles.
Yes.
And he analyzes Apple, and it's true for everything.
Yes.
You can analyze basically any aspect of your life with his Y diagram.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are, as you say, completely vulnerable with yourself,
right,
you will be there.
Yes.
And but that's hard.
Yes. And that is the place that you and I have to get
to go. We have to go there
ourselves.
Yes.
In order to, first of all, to help start beginning to heal ourselves, right, in this process, because I think there is going to be a healing for us.
Yes.
As we're going and talking with other women and we're working with them, there is going to be a healing process for us there.
Yes.
But I think doing it that way, it's not going to come across gimmicky. It's or not going to contrive. It's not going to come out like we're making a marketing strategy. I don't want that. I don't want to seem like I'm making a marketing strategy. I want it to be real, just the realest that we could possibly be with women. And I think it's going to start with us going all the way back to what connected you and I in the very first place. Like, we both were having mothers who were struggling with health wise, and we're taking care of them, and the sacrifice of being there for them full time, then dealing with the
sacrifice
loss
of getting fired from a job and then running a household on Social Security.
Right.
And for 5 years.
And then also with that, like our health took hits because we're so busy caring for them that we forget, or just too fucking tired, to be perfectly honest, to care for our own health. And so we're dealing with that, but not just our physical health, but our mental health took some hits, and then financial took a hit. And so that is where we are coming from. That is the basis of creating this program. It's not going to be your traditional wellness program where we're doing meditation and we're doing, which is all great. I want us to be able to do those things. But how, so some of the things, and we might need to write some of these questions down. I'm recording this, by the way.
Yeah, that's why I saw that. Yeah.
But we need to be speaking to the women from a place of this is the place where you are going to start. This is not the finish line, but this 4-day, 5-day, whatever we decide how many days they're going to come to spend with us. This is going to be about beginning this process. How do you start? How do you start to heal? How do you start to mourn? How do you start to get your physical being back right? Where do you begin? This is not
just a vacation. This is not just a retreat.
Right. This is not a vacation. This is not a retreat. This is a beginning. We're trying to help you to find a start. Pick up the pieces. Basically. And this is how you start. This is kind of where we need to begin. And so the weekend, 5 days or how many days, the program needs to be about what do we think is going to help them to heal? What do we believe that is going to be a good starting point for them?
Yeah.
What do we think they need to concentrate on? Because we can't bombard them with too much.
Right. Because it's going to be it's going to be
it'll be
emotionally overwhelming.
Right. And it'll be another thing that they fail at.
Yes, we cannot set them up for failure at all.
So I think our program needs to be about, or our 5 days with us, we're just going to concentrate on 2, maybe 3 things. That's it. 3, no more than 3 things. These are the 3 things we want you to walk away with. These are the 3 tools that we want you to walk away with. And these are the 3 action plans that we want you to walk away with. And we got 5 days to teach them 3 things.
Okay.
That's it. We got 5 days to teach them 3 things.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
No, I think that that's a tremendous place to. I feel it in here. It's like I am vibrating. It's like it's going to be very powerful.
Yeah, I want it to be a powerful 5 days that they spend with us. Like these are the 5 days you're going to spend with us, and you're going to walk away from this 5 days going, okay. I think I believe hope should be somewhere in there. Like,
yes, because if you don't see hope or even the light ahead, then you're just gonna you'll collapse in on yourself,
right?
And you'll get, what's that,
doubt, self-doubt.
It's self-doubt, but it's more insidious, because it's just like it drains your strength to even put a step forward. Why do you stay in bed and not do anything? Why do you give up all your strength to someone else before yourself?
So let me just. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, check this out. This is a side note. This is why it took me so long, by the way, today, just so you'll know. I wasn't like pissing off us getting together. Okay, so I went to this study.
Okay.
And the study was to study my digestive system, or how I'm processing food, right?
Yeah.
So they gave me an egg white, 1 egg white, and then they put something in it. It's called a tracer.
Okay.
And it goes down and it goes to your stomach. And then when it gets to your stomach, they take the initial image.
Okay.
This machine, put your image. Okay, there's the egg sitting in my stomach, right? And then they come back every hour to see how it has moved. A normal stomach will process an egg in about an hour, hour and a half. It moves from the stomach into the intestines.
Okay.
Mine took almost 4 hours and it still hadn't moved totally out.
Wow.
Like when she took different images, you could see all of it right here, nothing in the intestinal tract. And then first hour, it ain't moved. Second hour, it ain't moved. Third hour, just a little bit of particles. Then you start to see it in my intestinal tract.
Okay.
And then it moved. So 4th hour, it moved, but you see half of it in the intestinal tract and the other half is still sitting here in the stomach.
Wow.
So a lot of things came to clarity is I'm not getting the nutrition that I'm, because it's sitting in the stomach far too long.
Right.
Okay. But nobody really has a non-pill method or drug method of moving the bowels faster. And this was one egg white yolk. Egg white. Not the yolk, egg white. That's what I had. 1 egg white. So it got me to thinking, what the hell happens when I eat a taco? Or how
Yeah,
long does that shit stay in my stomach? And how
right.
long does that take to process?
Mm-hmm.
Because your stomach is the thing that's supposed to break the food down. So then when
Yeah,
it gets to the intestines,
they can extract the
it gets
nutrients
extracted
and
the
then
nutrients, but my stomach is not breaking it down, at least not in a timely manner. So
right.
now I got to go back and see another doctor to go review of what we're going to do and what kind of plan or what can we put together. So that particular doctor who took the images and stuff, she was saying that, one of the things she said I'll consult with the other doctor about this, but one thing we might consider is you maybe need to go to a more liquid diet or more fruit and vegetables versus meat, because if it takes an egg white, which is a protein, that
Yeah,
long to process, how long does it take your stomach to process a piece of chicken or a piece of fish?
right.
I know it was enlightening but scary at the same time that it's taking me that
Yes.
long for the stomach to process. Now, one of the things we did discuss is I don't have a gallbladder, and that is the thing that's in the stomach that process. I haven't had a gallbladder in like 23,
Oh, I didn't know
24
that.
years. Yeah, this gallbladder. So the gallbladder sends a secretion into the stomach, and the stomach basically churns it up. Well, without a gallbladder, I don't
Yeah,
have one, so I don't have
yeah, eat
anything
fat
to
and protein.
eat that away. And it does break it down, but it takes it a while. But mine is taking excessively long period of time. Even
Okay,
without a gallbladder, mine is taking a lot longer than what normally should be.
right.
So
Wow.
okay. So I had that. Then so I hadn't eaten. So basically by the time I got home, I went grocery shopping because we didn't have shit in there because after the storm,
Yeah.
we had to throw everything away. So we depleted everything that we could possibly think about having. So I mean everything down to we had no mayonnaise, we don't have no mustard, we don't have, I mean,
Oh
all of
my
those
gosh, you didn't have
things.
anything.
We don't have anything because those are things we kept in the refrigerator. So we just threw it all out. My dad just threw it all out. Like, throw it all out. We'll go get another job. And so I'm like shopping. So by the time I got home, after 2:30 by the
Okay.
time I got home. And then I made some other stops. I stopped at AT&T store. I stopped at other stops. So it was like
Errand.
2:30, almost 3 o'clock before I got home. So,
And before you ate anything, I mean,
well, that's
or
the thing. So after all of that, then I got constipated
yes.
because I hadn't eaten anything to kind of push everything down.
Yeah.
I ate nothing. So then now I'm constipated. And that hurt like a dick. And so I'm in the, ugh.
Yes.
So I basically was in the bathroom for about 2 hours. So from 3:30 to about 5:30, 5:45.
Watermelon. It really is. It's
I
an
bought a
amazing.
watermelon. I bought a watermelon for just that reason, because I was constipated in the store. So I bought watermelon. I got cranberry juice. I got beets. So I think I'm about to make a beet drink just so I can have the nutrients that I need.
Right.
Um, but I'm eat a couple of slices of watermelon, so maybe that'll have me, I don't know,
It
push
will.
it
It,
through.
it will. I mean, it may take a while, but yeah, because
Yeah, but right.
we
But if
use
I
that for
do,
my mom
if
because
I
she
do,
was medically constipated.
and I got dates in there, so I may do like, I don't know. But I got to do something. It may not be the best taste and smoother, but I don't care. I'm just gonna goo it down and
Right.
in a little bit. But I
The
was
other
just
thing
like,
is on that's pears. It's for those of us who are diabetic. So, and you're diabetic. So pears are one of those sitting on the fence fruits that if you are
okay, okay,
okay,
okay. So, but
got it.
okay, so stuff like that we just was talking about is the level of
Intimacy.
That we want this retreat to have, so that we can talk about it. But we need to, so hope is one word, and I think we need to find the other two words. So I was thinking hope, healing, and help. Hope, healing, and, well, I don't even know if healing is the word. I know hope was definitely the word for me. Hope was the word. And then we can place what the activities are going to be
exactly
underneath those categories.
Right. I think that the ultimate goal is hope. But what is the thing that's going to be the foundation?
What do you mean?
So it's going to be more like an upside down pyramid, where that small little thing that is so hard to get to, of being vulnerable, is then you then build on to that with the next level, which then leads to hope.
Right.
Because we ultimately want them to have that as their inner strength.
Okay,
so that they can always depend on the hope that they have not devised or developed, but they have given to themselves, so they can always depend on it with that. But then with the tools that we give them, it becomes rock solid. But it's still that other little thing, that vulnerability.
So how do we get them to hope again? I guess that's where we gotta start. Like we the whole weekend needs to end with a level of hope. I know the skills, we're gonna add some skills in there that they have to learn or begin to learn some new skills, but I know where I get my hope from, because I can always tap into my faith. My faith is a big part of who I am. But I know we're going to have women of all different kinds of faiths that's going to be coming here.
But okay, and because faith has so many different definitions.
Correct.
Because I believe that my faith also, but it's more, it's a multifaceted thing that we have. Right. So it's like, it's the faith in our spiritual or religious practice, if you have one. Faith in your own inner strength that you tap into. And more often than not, we tap into that strength so that we keep going for somebody else. And how do we turn? I don't want to, you're not, just because you're going to then focus back on yourself does not mean you're abandoning. It does not mean being selfish, but in a way it is, because if you don't focus on yourself, and it's something that I put into the Trello. If we believe if we don't focus on ourselves, we will not have the strength we won't have our strengths and weaknesses to build on.
Right.
To like be able
if you don't fill up your own cup, then how can you be? Right, so we women, we keep pouring and pouring into mom, and pouring into dad, and pouring into kids, and pouring into siblings, and pouring into work, and pouring into everything, that by at the end, all we could do is collapse. Right. Just get home and just lay down.
Yeah.
And start all over the next day, pouring into everything. And every now and again, on a special day, birthday,
Mother's
anniversary, or
Day,
stuff like Mother's
whatever.
Day,
But that's not
we
enough.
get poured, right. And then maybe every now and again we might take a vacation and pour into ourselves, but
Right.
the amount that you're pouring out compared to what gets poured in. And so I think
It's completely imbalanced.
it's very imbalanced. And so I think maybe a part of that is part of the hope in faith is how do you tap into that daily so that you can get a daily refill instead of a
Yes.
every once in a while refill. Like
Yes.
moving them from, so when they get there, first day they depleted. Usually that's why they're gonna be coming in the first place, because we're depleted. And I
Right.
know
Oh,
I
that's a
need
good
this
word.
for, yeah, depleted.
Why there?
And so from that depletion, we need to be able to teach them something that they can do every day to refill. And so maybe that's where meditation comes in. So meditation is the skill set that but it needs to be a different type of meditation. It just doesn't need to be, I mean, like we're using a breathing exercise, but we need to be teaching in meditation how to refill. It needs to be a refilling meditation.
Refill and refuel.
Meditation. It's a whole different style. Like it needs to be teaching a different style of meditation to them where they are fueling back up every day. So we need to be teaching them. I do something where I plant my feet on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I basically ground myself and I do my meditations right there at the side of my bed.
Okay.
Which is a little bit different than most people do, because most people, they get into the position and get on the ground.
Right.
I don't do all that because, first of all, I have a hard time getting my fat ass on the ground and even harder time getting my fat ass up. So the ground stuff got weeded out long time ago.
And that needs to be part of it. It's like,
right. Like, we're women of a certain age, we 50 and above. Yeah, that getting
and
on the
even
floor shit. Just the thought, like, you want me to get where? Oh no, that's not happening.
Right. So how do we, but then there are women who I can get up and down.
Yeah. And there's some who want to get up and down. But we need to let people know it's okay either way. If you want to get down on the ground and be grounded, because we're going to have athletic women that's still in great shape.
Right.
And can get up and down. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So we need to have them where they're most comfortable. Right.
Yeah. And so there was something that was one of the pillars of my NIA practice.
Mm-hmm.
And the statement, the tagline that goes with it is moving the body's way. And part of that is that you try to imitate the steps, but in a way so that your body from your feet up still supported you. So even though I may be taking a step forward and I got 36 inches of inseam to work with, there's somebody else who's 4 foot nothing and they don't have that. They have to move in a way that feels good, it feels supportive, and it feels strong.
Yeah.
And I can see where a lot of and they call this dancing, we call it dancing through life. Because different modalities give you different skills. So like if you ever do a keto is a modality that's based upon circles or moving around and through, so that you can take that into your everyday life. And if you have a difficult encounter, you can see a path, you can see a way forward where you're still engaging with the issue that you need to deal with, but you're not doing it, you're doing it in a way so that you're keeping your core safe. So that, and then you're not going to dance around the problem, but you are going to deal with the problem in a circular way so that you protect your inner strength and your core, but then you're open to what the issues are and how to deal with them. And it may not come right away. It may be, I appreciate what you said, but, and I'll work on that, or let's work together to figure out a solution that's good for both of us, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like learning how that you do have skills that you learned all your life, but sometimes we don't apply them.
Or sometimes we just forgot that we had
We
those skills because
forget.
we haven't used that skill in so long.
Right, exactly. It's like your parents sent you to make sure you have to learn how to share. I don't want to share. It's like all those lessons, everything we learned everything we need to know, we learned in kindergarten. That thing from one of Oprah's book club things.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like taking pieces from all the different things that we've done or observed or witnessed or participated in have informed us as the human beings that we are today.
Okay, so one of the things that I want to make sure that we do not do,
okay,
because you and I both are very knowledgeable about a lot of different things, different things. And what I don't want to overwhelm them. I don't want to overwhelm them, but I also don't want to. I want this to be the least techie, the least.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go. What is it called when you're not digital? Oh crap. Oh, it's on the tip of my. Fuck. What is that word? Damn it. Analog. We are going to go completely analog. And so, I mean, because all these women are going to know what a rotary phone is. They're going to know what
right, but I think that's what we need to get back to, is just that. Like we're even using that word is like we have an analog program.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
Like this is going to be right. This is not a digital program. This is an analog program. We're going to get back to analog. We're going to get back to the basics. We're going to get back to smart health. We're going to get back to all the things,
all the old wives' tales that actually even
work. All the things that work.
Yes. It's like, why did your grandmother put a mustard pack on your chest when you had a cold?
Right.
Why did they?
Because it worked.
Why the Native Americans use willow bark tea when you have a fever and a headache? Because it worked.
So the whole we're gonna get back to the basics and get back to analog.
Mm-hmm. You're going analog.
Right. We're gonna go analog. So what does analog look like in hope? How do we help them to have an analog hope?
An analog experience of hope.
An analog experience of hope. How do we help them to have analog health? What does that look like? How do we help them to get to analog healing? And healing can be healing of mind, body, and spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So
And there's that everyday refuel.
Mm-hmm.
Is the analog. So you can do it anywhere, whether in the dark of night, in the light of day,
or at your desk when your coworker just stressed you the hell out and you want to beat the living crap out of them, or your boss or somebody like that.
Right.
So how do you? So we're gonna get there to what specific tools we want them to do.
Mm-hmm.
But these are tools that we are gonna have to do first.
Have to develop, yes.
We're gonna have to develop and help understand why they work for us, so that we can help them understand why going to work for them.
Right.
And we'll get to the specifics, but I think again, this is starting with going back to the why do we want you to help you to get there? Because what's going on that you're having to fight and battle. And I think that is what we need to add into Trello, is a massive list of struggles that they are having, so that we can put them in categories. So let me see, go to Trello. I had it open a few minutes ago. Okay, so in Trello, I think one of the, now you got, I see here that I was noticing that you have like general marketing research, general marketing analysis. Okay, I kind of see. Okay, I see the difference. Okay.
And I was, at the time when I did this, I was definitely much more focused on our corporate client.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I definitely noticed that and saw that.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of.
But I think getting this, and I keep using this word, modality, getting this framework for the individual is going to inform also more how we will help our corporate clients.
Right.
Because none of them they're not analog. Why? Write it down. Because there's
there has been statistically known that there is a connection between mind, writing, reading, and stuff staying in your mind when you write it down.
In your mind. What do we call it? We call it in dance. It's body memory. It's cellular memory. That's what it is. So that's where that is it. We're going back to talk about basics and being analog. We're gonna
build a cellular memory for you.
We're gonna and there's the first step. There is the base. There is the point for them to begin. It's like recognizing yourself and the fact that you have all of these skills already. You just have to reactivate in an analog way your cellular memory of everything that you have learned as a human being on planet Earth.
And by the way, I thought about it a lot when I was saying that this could be over 50 or over 40. I think I just want to stick with over 50.
I think so, yes. I mean, there's a lot of things out there for folks who are in their 40s already, because they're still considered on the young side. And it's not like we're old, but our bodies are now starting to say
those 10 years make a hell of a lot of difference.
Those 10 years make a hell of a lot of difference, and your body keeps telling you, I ain't 40 no longer.
Okay. Right.
Or 50 is the new 40.
And even me at 55, I'm like,
58, girl, it's like, and the last 3 years has just been, wow.
So again, I just,
cellular memory.
Cellular memory. And what solidified it for me was just a few days ago. This man came on and he's teaching how to trade, how to marketing, going to market, stock marketing stuff. But he was just like, I don't want to talk to anybody that's under 50. This is a program for 50 and over. And I was like, boom, there you go. That just helped me to solidify. He said, I appreciate you 40, but when you 50 or over and you trying to come up with that last little bit of money to try to hold
So
things down and
because
get
that
you to
means that 60
retirement
is right around the corner, which
right
means it's
around the
65
corner. And so he was
right around
talking
the
and I was
corner.
like, yes, bro, I totally understand what you're saying. And that just kind of helped me to say, think about a little bit
I
more. Now,
agree.
I don't want to deal with the 40s and stuff because they got 25 years literally before retirement. Whereas if you're in your 50s, if you're 58, 59, to you retirement is like
Right.
blink,
Hello.
blink, right. And so you need a whole different mindset. A whole different mindset. And so with that solidified it with me like, no, this program needs
I
to be
agree.
for and then another thing I thought about, this program just needs to be for women right now.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
Just for women. I want a man. I don't want to hear your manly problems. I just don't. I don't. I don't even care about your little manly problems. I don't.
I know.
I
And
don't I don't have the energy to think about how men think about this same situation. I don't even care. I don't even want to stretch my brain to think about how you think or how to tap into you. I don't want to think about it. I want this to be the most natural extension of myself.
Yes.
I don't have to think about how a woman over 50. I know exactly how a woman over 50 is feeling right now about.
Because we live in it.
Right. Exactly. So
there we go. Yay. Good.
I also would like for us to pull in a few resources, some other people, maybe not on a full-time basis, but I know one perspective that you and I both don't have is we don't have kids. So a woman in her 50s that's dealing with all this that has kids, or maybe even a woman in her 50s that has a husband. Like they got a whole different ball of wax of
they do.
crap that they're going through that you and I cannot relate to.
Yeah, even though I'm divorced, I know that's it. Yeah, no.
Yeah. So I already know that's a whole.
But she has to. But it has to be where, and I happily married, happily supported, and still feels depleted.
Correct. So we need to find that woman. That woman to be just maybe not like a full-time person, that's it, but somebody that we can call, like we can get on a Zoom call and just have an honest conversation, and maybe we just be quiet and take some notes and ask some questions. I really would like to pull my sister in because she's in her 50s. She's a mom. She's a widow. So she was happily married, but she lost her husband. So that brings a whole different thing. Like, we're at that stage where women are losing their husbands and having to.
And so there's that great loss that we started out with.
Right. That she's having to deal with.
When your greatest support is no longer there.
Right. And then showed the past 13 years that she's had to raise Mala by herself.
Right.
Right. So how do you get over that? That's a huge loss. So, I've been asking her questions about different things and just trying to get her perspective on stuff. And she's been very valuable.
So maybe we should have a couple of people.
Yeah, that's what I said. Maybe we need to have a couple of, like a panel of women that'll help us to put this
round tables
with and ask questions and just kind of what would you like to see in a retreat? What is it that you, and I'm not sure how to do that. Actually, here's what I'm thinking. When you start to get too many women, they don't want to be vulnerable. Yeah. So I'm thinking that maybe we could get the women and it just be you and I with one woman on a
Okay.
call to start off. Like
Okay.
us two and that one woman, us two and the next woman. Like we can
Okay.
have several women, but I don't want to put them all on one because
Right.
I don't know about you, but if you got a bunch of strangers that you're just not
Yeah,
getting
you're
on the
not gonna
Zoom call,
want to.
you're not gonna open up and talk about different things or just get vulnerable the way we
Right.
need them to be.
Right.
And we need them to be vulnerable so
Right.
that we can ask the pertinent questions that need to be asked, get the right information, and maybe somewhere down the line after they've gotten
We can have
comfortable
a.
with us, we can have and ask them, how do you feel about maybe coming back on with all of the women and having a session?
Okay.
But I think right away, I think these first
One-on-one, basically.
one-on-one, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that we can get what we need to ask. So for example, I already know my sister is gonna, she will talk to me about certain things that she may not say to you, but you can throw out some questions that maybe she hadn't thought of.
My friend Celeste, happily married, 2 children in
Okay,
college,
good. Yes.
self-made entrepreneur.
Yes.
So she's my tap.
Okay. And I think we also need to get, so we got a strong Black woman pool, but I think we need to find us a Hispanic, a
one.
Latin, or some
Okay.
other woman that fits these categories that we may know, an Asian woman, because they're coming from, because I do want to
That's a completely different.
I do definitely want to cross the cultural divide with
Right.
this program.
Filipino is so different just because they have that religion and then the family orientation.
So, and the expectations of them in the world are totally different than the expectations of you and I. So I think we need to get that perspective, but we need to find that woman.
Okay.
So, and they don't necessarily have to be single. They can be single, but they don't have to be single.
I mean, quite frankly, it could also be a lesbian or a trans woman who's married.
I don't want to go there.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to add the trans.
That's another layer. That's
another layer that I don't want to. I don't want to deal with that layer. That's somebody else's retreat. That's not my retreat.
Right. Okay. No. But but again, because there's a lot of lesbians are so focused on being married, having a family, and being middle America.
Right.
Especially if they're white.
Right. I don't want this to be
because I know I
don't want this to be focused
couples.
On sexuality. I don't want to bring that into this retreat. I want this to retreat be about the fact that we as women pour ourselves out into everybody else except for ourselves. We have a hard time giving back to ourselves.
Right.
And so when you start to bring in like their other struggles that they're dealing with sexuality and all, that's a different retreat.
That is. So
that's a different retreat.
It is definitely a different retreat.
Yeah, I think our retreat needs to be focused on how to get back to yourself, how to start pouring back into you.
Right.
Like how to pour back into yourself daily, not in a special occasion way. How do you every day get up and give something back to you? Give something back to your dreams. Because here's another thing. A lot of women our age have given their dream away for a husband or a child or someone else that we a parent. Like you shut down and said, well, I'll get back to that. But then you thought it was going to be, like for me, I said, okay, I'm going to help mama get back to health for a little bit. And then I'm going to go back to Europe and go back to my job.
And that came home from Iraq with the same idea.
Right. So my dreams of having a business in Europe stopped. I had to stop. I actually had an active business that I would go back and forth to Europe. I had to shut down that business because I couldn't be gone that long.
Right.
So I stopped. Actually, I sold it. I sold my business. I had a business called Do It Destinations. It was an amazing business. And I used to
Yeah.
go back all the time to
Right.
Europe. Couldn't do that anymore. Now, when mama got sick, I just felt so guilty leaving my sister all the time to handle stuff. Then definitely when I moved in here with dad, it was impossible.
Yeah. So definitely Celeste.
So I think what we need to do is start a new board. Another list. And I think this list, and then we're going to move that list a little bit forward or closer
Okay.
to the front, but we need to start a list with basically the core of the business. Like
Okay.
what's going to be the core of the business, or just the core of stuff that we need to develop. So we need to develop hope. We need to develop health. We need to develop, like, what does that mean to us? And then develop like what activities could possibly go underneath those particular categories, and
Right.
then create our own philosophy of these things, like stuff that we believe in, not necessarily stuff that everybody else is out there doing it. Yeah, we need to be looking
Correct.
at that thing, but I think we
Yeah.
need to be looking at other people's business models from a different perspective.
Okay.
Like maybe later on, like looking at other people's business models to say, not how alike, but how different we are from that. I like the whole analog thing.
Yeah. So I've got two other people. Luann Mitchell. I met her through the NIA experience. Happily married, 3, if not 4 children. They're going strong. And then who was the other one? Rose. My friend Rose. Happily married, grown children. Her son just got married to a woman from Africa, and they're living in, I think it's
What
Washington.
nationality are these women?
Both of these women are white.
Okay, that's good.
But then Celeste and your sister are an
Black.
African, are Black.
Right.
I think that I've got at least one other,
which is good. So we got 4 Black, so maybe we can find 4 or 5 others who are not, which is
right.
amazing.
So now I'm looking at my folks that are, and I don't know why, but Filipino is such a juxtaposition between Asian.
Actually, I have two Filipino lesbian women that are very good friends. I've known them for years. They were on my team in ACN. So
okay,
and they're both professionals, very driven.
Those are our women.
Yeah. Yeah. So I already did. So when I said Asian,
so
those were the women that I thought. Right.
All right. So now we have 6. So Rose and
I want to say they're both in like late 50s, early 60s, maybe even.
And Rose is if she's not, I think she's over 60 because she may be close to retirement age.
And they're both in the medical profession, which is going to help tremendously.
And Rose is a former teacher, but she's still in the education field. And who did I just say also? Luann. Okay, so Rose and Luann. Roundtable interviews.
So
Okay.
if we can just start.
Celeste. Okay.
So we can just start finding our way to those women and seeing if we can start setting up and scheduling time with them. But I here's one other thing. Now, before we start down, don't, because I know how you are. You get super excited and just go right to the kill. I
Well,
think
I've been learning to restrain myself.
I know. I think we need to figure out not necessarily the same set of questions, although it could be, but I think we need to figure out what questions we want to ask them.
To start out with.
But I think okay, again, this journey, because what can start to happen is we get so outwardly focused, outward, which is what we've been doing, is outwardly focused and going find a resource, and that's outwards. We need to channel this stuff back to us and make it a more inward focus. And how are we healing ourselves? What are the things we're doing to work to heal ourselves? And moreover, what ways are we that are not working? I think that's the more important thing. Like, we've been trying different things, and there are certain things that we got, but there's certain things that we don't got.
Right.
And those are the most important things, I think, right now for us, because how we help somebody when we are failing miserably in certain areas.
Right.
And health is one. I think we're working on getting better, but I don't think either one of our health is where. So I think journaling what our journey is right now and writing down, like right now, I'm realizing I don't do very well with this health thing. So I was like, okay, starting from the beginning or almost analog. I can't move forward with healing myself if I don't know what my numbers are.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm getting all this testing, and I've been going back and forth into all these different doctors over the last several months, basically since March. I've been going to all these different doctors because I need to know where my numbers are so I know where to start. So maybe that can be a part of the program, a part of the healing is if you don't know what your numbers are, if the last time you went to a doctor was
1965 when you were born.
Right. Or 10 years ago when you first started trying to help your mama or your dad or whoever you're caring for. Right. How can you help? You know what I mean? Like, how can you help yourself? So we need to create a program where they can help themselves. And it starts with everything, baseline, going back to analog. Where are you? Where are your numbers? So maybe that's something that we can talk with Josie and Wilma are their names. Maybe that's something we can talk about with Josie and Wilma about how would you help a woman who hasn't maybe necessarily been to the doctor in a very long time or haven't been taking care of herself that's over 50? How do you help her to start? Where would you want her to start?
Right.
Without getting too techie with that as well, because
they have to bring it back to analog.
Right, because not everybody has insurance. Not everybody. So what can they do that's basic? How can we help
analog.
them? That's right.
That analog is our linchpin.
That definitely is our linchpin. Right. Yeah.
Yes. So I found two other women from my Buddhist community here in Austin, both over 50, both happily married, both with children, both I believe, I'm not sure what Jeanette does, but if they're not, and that both they both think that they're still professional women who still work, and they have grown children. So
I'm absolutely losing my damn mind.
Let me write these down.
No, when I was just sitting here, I had the remote. And now, at least I thought I did. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Them in every single routine leading up to me. And I have this statistic. When everyone hits before me on horse, I hit it.
I was watching the men here gymnastics. They won.
Oh, is that on now?
Yeah. Oh, it just finished. They finished. They were showing it. The men's won the bronze medal, and that's the first medal that the men's Olympic team has won since the late 80s, early 90s. They have
Damn,
not
I
won.
thought that they had done better than that, but
No,
wow.
they had not won the team medal since that time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I turned it off because my sister subscribed to Peacock for us, so we have replays of
Replays, right? And they're gonna show it 1,001 times, but
Oh yeah.
I can watch it on the late night when they show it. But I'm just kind of was excited by seeing what these young men are saying.
Yay! And the new black guy that's on the team.
Yeah, Richards. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's dynamic, and he's only 20 years old. So
right.
I was
Same
like,
thing
this.
with who's the track guy that's going for the 100 and 200 meters?
No Riley.
Yes.
No loud.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. That's good. I got that little fix in. I was like, what happened to the remote? It fell down back there. I was like, I know I had the remote because I turned the TV off when I was sitting here. So I think this is a good start. I just think we need to add those tabs and those tags, and then add another tab in there that says what do we want to call these women? Referring women, or our what do we want to call them? These women, and
that we're interviewing.
Like, what do we want to call them? We need to give them a name so we know what the hell we're talking about.
Let me think about it because I'm not sure.
And then whoever you think about adding, go ahead and add that person's name in there. So we can keep track and just a little information about them, like white, married,
children,
kids, so that so I can have an idea of what making sure that we're not missing
a basic bio
on them. So we can make sure we have a nice, well-rounded pool of women that we're getting information from. If we can get where they're from, that would be important as well, because I personally believe where you're from a lot of time reflects how you see the world.
Oh yeah.
Like my friends who are
Rachel. Okay, yes.
My friends who are New Yorkers see the world quite differently than my friends who are Californians, and even how they react to things and talk about things, and is totally different. So I just find
I do have a lesbian couple, and she's white Californian Jewish.
Ooh, okay.
And Michelle or Mac is Canadian Trinidadian.
Oh my God.
And she is right. They have been separated because Michelle has had to live in Toronto to take care of her mom for the last decade. They have been married for almost 2 decades, and the last decade they have spent alone. Rachel has celiac disease. And then they have Rachel when she was Lauren's 22 now. 23, 24 years ago, she decided she wanted a child. She tried the artificial insemination, ended up adopting a baby from China, the most multicultural family that I have ever met.
Okay.
And Rachel and Mac are two of my best friends. And I think they would be delighted to talk about.
Yeah.
And they're both very, very smart.
Okay. Yeah, I think we need to put those women down.
Yeah, I put them down on my
it.
list. Yeah. So I've
Put them
got
and let's make a Trello list. We need to figure out what we're gonna call them so we can make the list of our
our
women,
knights of the round, our knights of the round table,
our women warriors.
women warriors. Yeah, there we go. That's good.
Actually, I think
That's a
that's
type of
what
knight.
actually I think that's what we need to call our women as a whole, is our women warriors.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. Because
All
I
right.
think there comes a certain level of warriorness that needs to be in you to be able to
Right.
deal with all this stuff that we got to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is a good start. I think
Yes.
I don't want to necessarily, because I think the logistic stuff of finding a place and getting it booked and all this stuff and
it'll work itself out.
And make it a funnel and all this other stuff and make it a website and choosing
we can
colors
do that. We can do most of that with our eyes closed.
Correct. It's this part is going to be the part that's going to fuel the rest of it.
This is the meat and bones
That's right.
of our retreat.
And if we get this wrong, it all falls apart. It don't matter what kind of funnel you do or what kind of marketing ad you do. If we don't get this part right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need to spend valuable time, even if we have to spend an entire month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks on this.
Yes.
This
well, I mean, with all the women that went, I mean, I've already got 8 on my list.
Yes, and so and that's why I was saying, if as we begin to interview women and talk with them, we're gonna find that we're missing some very valuable things that we need to have a part of our retreat. And some digging deep from these women are going to be very valuable. So I just think getting this stuff outlined,
yes,
getting us set on a few questions. If we only have like 4 or 5 questions that we want to ask them, then in the conversation, I'm pretty sure other questions will start to pop up. And come to us.
2 of my friends from back in New York. Bridget still lives in New York. I believe Pat and her husband, they now live in North Carolina. Both married, happy, children. Pat's wrote a couple of children's books and is a successful author now. So, okay. 2, 4, 6, 8. I got 9. And I've got a couple of others.
I'm going to think very hard on my women. I have those 3 right now.
Okay.
Actually 4 right now. I want to think a little bit more on who the other ones could be.
Okay.
So I have my sister. I have Dr. Sonja Elise Freeman. She's 2. She's a New Yorker.
Okay, I know that name.
Yeah, she's been part of different things that I've had over the years.
Right. Okay.
Very
and
well
so I've got a good mix of California, Texas, and East Coast here.
And then I got my 2 Filipino ladies. So I think I need to think about, because I know so many people, but I want to make sure I'm not just picking women because they I want to make sure that I'm picking the right women that are going to be vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
in this process and really
Yeah.
help us to dig deep and find the right voice for our program.
Yes.
Like I need to know.
Yeah, that's the perfect. We're finding the voice.
Finding the voice. And I think
For
my sister's gonna like out of all these women that we're talking about, my sister's the only one that I've heard that I've spoke of that that's a widow. That's a whole nother voice. Like how do
That
you
is.
recover from a great loss of your great love, you know?
Mhm.
Like that's a different kind of loss than the loss of your mother,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So that's gonna be an important voice that we have to bring to the table somehow. So that's one of the
Holly
reasons.
and her son died. The loss of a child.
You know what? I just had a friend who just buried her son this past weekend. She's over 50, but it may be a little too soon to bring her on the panel.
If you can approach it the right way, I bet you the the vulnerability that will be there will be good for her as well as us.
Mhm.
She may be someone down the line, broach it very delicately,
Mhm.
because that
Yeah.
that right there, that's another voice.
Yes.
But Holly lost her son. She was my initial NIA teacher, so I've known her for like 25 years. She was married at the time to Dick. They had a successful business. They sold the business. They moved to New Mexico. They got divorced. Her son is in and out of her life. And then he has, I think it was a car accident, and he became quadriplegic.
Oh wow.
And he died, I think he died about 10 years ago. So it's not a recent loss, but I know that that's a loss that informed her life now. She's remarried, very happy. But again, so there's another voice
Mhm.
with
Finding a second love, right?
finding the second foot. Yes.
Right.
And that's a lot of, I bet you she'll talk a lot about how her NIA practice went into that. But that'll be great.
Right.
Because that,
even like that,
practice,
finding her NIA practice. So that's her faith, her hope. So we need to tap into other people's, like I'm from a Christian faith, but she's from a different faith. The Filipino ladies, I know, are from a totally different faith than I am. It's right.
They're not Catholic.
I think they are Catholic. Right. So and so that's what I want to tap into. Like, like a question, what is faith to you? Like, what is faith? Is your faith what gives you hope? So I think like what gives you hope? And if they say it's their faith, then what specific is it? Because I want to find the nucleus.
Yes. There we go. Analog.
Without getting religious. Because I don't want this
Right.
to be a religious retreat.
Exactly.
I want something in spirituality to be the core.
Yes.
A core pillar that we can teach them no matter what faith. There's some core that they can tap
so
into.
We're finding our pillars. We're finding our evergreen material.
Like this is our this is gonna be, like I don't care what faith there's a nucleus that you can tap into, and we need to help them. We need to get what those pillars are going to be so that we can teach them how to ground yourself in that every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like how to find how to find 5 minutes that ground you every day. How to find 5 minutes of healing every day.
5 minutes of joy every morning.
5 minutes of joy. How to find that 5 minutes every day.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be your grounding force. I'm gonna think about it a little bit, but I was thinking about Miss Betty. Remember Miss Betty? Betty Waite?
Yes.
She's a grandmother.
Ooh, that's another voice we have not.
Yes. She's over 50. She's a grandmother. She's gone through a lot in her life.
Joan is a grandmother. Jeanette is a grandmother.
Right. So I think that grandmother,
Rose
because
is
those are
not
women that's
yet.
over 50 that we,
Right.
a lot of women are grandmothers and they have kids that's old enough to start having kids or already have kids. And so I think
Right.
that's a voice that we need to hear,
Yeah.
because that's a woman that needs to come to this retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So a massive list of pain points,
Mhm.
and then our women warriors.
I just call them women warriors. If that's not the right name for them, we just need to figure out who they what.
That's what we can call the board, though. That's easy enough for now.
Yes, our women warriors. That's a good name, and ask them. We can ask them. I thought about you to be a part of our women warriors team,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like you're a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, I think I had one more woman that I would have loved to, but she passed. So,
Oh no.
you remember Ella G?
Yes.
Yeah.
She passed.
Yeah,
Oh.
she died. Mm-hmm. I would have loved to have her because she was a grandmother.
She would have been. That would have been a special voice in there.
That surely would have been a special voice in there.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin, happily married, her husband died of cancer 3 years ago. She might be willing to talk to us. And we reconnected before he passed. But she's got a teenager. He's either just about to graduate from high school and go into college or already in college. So again, over 50 already.
Now, I don't believe that we're going to I think we need to take the time to find the right women to start. But I don't
Right.
I think I don't want to like put a cap on it and say we're going to have 20 women and that's it. No, because I think we need to always be updating and learning.
Yes.
And as our women go through different things in their lives, our women warriors, there are continuous lessons to be learned for them. But we do have to get to a stopping point where all right, we got enough information that we can put together a significant program.
Yeah.
But I think we need to make sure we give ourselves time to really get in there, analyze the data that they're giving to us.
Right.
And
I think we should also I know it's coming up with a questionnaire for them to answer beforehand.
You think so? Because I kind of
You just want to go with the interview?
I kind of like I mean, I think we need to come up with the questions, some of the questions beforehand, but I don't want to give them because I think I want it to be organic.
Okay.
I think there's something because if they already have the questions, then they already have that what they're going to say, and we lose.
Yeah, I don't want them to know what they're. That makes a lot of sense.
And they come up with the answers, and they're very, very their mind is already. I have the right answer, and there's not really a right answer. It's just what organically comes off the top of their head about their experience. I want them to tap into a different part of their brain.
Okay.
Left side, right side. Brain. Right. If you write stuff down, that's a different side of your brain.
Yes.
That's answering that question versus, the creative. I need the creative part of their brains to kick in. And I need their memory part of their brains to kick in because I also want them to talk a little bit about, the people who have had great loss. Here's another
Yes.
thing I also think needs to happen. I think there needs to be a level of us helping them to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But we need to decide with each person whether or not you need to ask the questions to them or I need to ask the questions to them.
All right.
Like, I think some of our friends may open up and answer questions better if you're asking your friend versus like my sister. I think you need to ask my sister
Right, exactly.
the questions
'Cause they'll
versus me
they'll have
asking my
preconceived
sister.
notions about what I know about them.
Right.
So,
Correct. Because if I ask, she'd be looking like, Tanya, you know the answer to this question. Why am I answering? Right. Versus
exactly. But
right.
that's also why my sister is not on this list, because she's a lot like me. Although she's never been married, has no children, lives alone, but she has tremendous health problems and she's over 50. So,
but your sister could be a great candidate for somebody who comes to our retreat.
yeah. I believe so, yes.
And I think starting this retreat small, intimate, personal, and getting these women in will help us develop a more well-rounded, robust corporate program.
Correct. Yes.
It also is going to allow us to have better testimonies. They'll be more personal. So then when we present these testimonies to
and it may be that's part of what we do as part of the retreat. We have like instead of a photo booth, we have a diary booth where they can each night, either in the morning or at that, it's like morning pages, evening pages.
Right.
Go in and just speak for like a minute to 5 minutes. And
kind of like a photo booth, and we're gonna put it to the side, but it has a curtain around it, and
exactly,
they get the right.
Or you can do it in your room as part of your wake up, but so right, yes.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Soon as this recording download, I'll send you so that you can, I'll just put it in Trello, the link to it.
Right. Okay.
So that, this session 1 can always go back and review it on your own.
Yes.
Write down some notes and stuff, because I haven't been writing down anything, because I figure I can go back and watch it
right. Exactly. That's why I'm glad you hit the record button.
I hit it kind of late, but it's okay. I hit it
because we really hadn't gotten into any meat and potatoes here. All right, it's not coming up. Okay, I'll look for it later.
Good. I think this is good. Good start.
All right, we're on our way.
Yeah, we are.
Awesome.
I know one thing I didn't have today. I didn't have any tea, which is maybe one of the reasons why I always have me several glasses of hot tea to start my day off with, and I didn't have that because I couldn't have anything to drink.
You had to be empty.
Had to be empty when I came. So,
oh my goodness,
I've had no tea.
I think today. I would have been very, very irritated all day long.
Actually, I wasn't, because I don't eat early anyway. I don't usually have my first meal until after 11:30, 12 o'clock. I'm not a morning eater person. Okay. So so it didn't bother me in the least little bit. I wouldn't even begin. I didn't even get hungry until probably an hour or two after I left there. Then I was just like, I need to eat something. But then that's when the constipation started setting in. But a big part of constipation is I usually by this time, like most people have like a breakfast. I have several glasses of hot tea in the morning. I don't
Right.
eat, my first meal doesn't come until after 11:30. But like at 7, 8, 9, I may have a glass of hot tea every hour, an hour, or every 30 minutes.
Okay.
Some mornings I get crazy and have 4 or 5 of them in one, because I make a big, like I have a steeper pot.
Yes.
So I just keep and pour more hot water on that and just keep
Right,
making
right.
and refreshing and just sip from 7:30 until 11 o'clock. That's what
Mm-hmm.
my normal things are. I very rarely put food down my throat before 10.
Okay.
Usually when I do that, it's because I'm at somebody else's home, or
Yeah.
I'm at some kind of retreat, or I'm at something where breakfast is in the morning and everybody eating breakfast. But that's not what I do on a normal daily basis.
Okay.
So when people talk about what's it called, intermittent fasting,
Yeah.
that's not a big deal to me.
Yes.
That's what I do on a regular
But that's also
basis.
if you get at least 8 hours of sleep
Oh, no, I'm not
on the
getting
regular.
No, I'm not getting
Because I
No.
eat, I can eat very late, and I can actually eat right before I go to bed.
But see, I don't do a lot of late night eating, like snacking and eating and stuff. Or if I do, I'll have something like I did last night. I'll grab 2 cashews or 3 cashews and eat 3 cashews. So like they told me, don't
Oh,
eat.
that would not be enough for me.
Like I'll do that. Like I'll put like 3 cashews in a napkin with a glass of hot tea, and that's what I will eat on at night. So like last night at 9:45, that's what I had: 3 cashews, hot tea. Go to bed.
Right.
Go to bed, Tanya. Don't be eating up. So when I get up, so like when I get these late night cravings and stuff like that, I usually fill my late night cravings with a beverage over a food. Like
Okay.
I will drink a tea, or I have these little bitty cups like this, little bitty Dixie cups. I will
Yeah.
have a glass of goat milk.
Okay.
And then I'd be like, oh, that hit the spot. And I go to bed
Oh, okay.
with goat milk. Girl, speaking of goat milk, when I went to the grocery store, they done lost their damn mind. They done took goat milk up to $11.38. I was just like, what the hell is wrong with them? How did it was bad enough when it was like $9 and I was having a hard time buying it. I refused to buy it today. I was just like, well,
I guess not.
I guess I gotta find someplace else to go. Now HEB was like the only place that I could consistently find it.
Fine. Okay.
But
Amazon.
I was like, ain't no way in hell I'm spending $8 on
$11.
$11, I'm sorry, on milk. So
You have blocked it out of your mind already. It was too much. That's crazy.
Right, the devil is a lie. I'm not spending that kind of money. So I left that. But my sister's area town is the only place I've been able to find the pint.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, maybe I'll go back out there and buy the pint versus the half a gallon.
Yeah.
And just get the pint of it. It was cheaper. Yeah. The pint was like $6, and even that was stretch.
Oh my God.
I know, but here's the thing. Goat milk is the only milk you should be putting in your body. Goat milk is the only milk that the body is supposed to accept. And by the way, this is biblical. This is the only milk that God had in the Bible that you should drink. Goat milk.
Interesting. You're going to have to tell that to Celeste.
Only milk that the Bible tells you to drink. Also, the Bible also talks about seasoning your food, seasoning each piece of your food, seasoning. But it's very specific as to what type of seasoning you're supposed to put on your food. It's specifically, which I think is funny, because almost everything that they tell you is don't put too much salt. No, y'all using table salt. The Bible talks about salting every portion of your food, and it's very specific. It wants a Celtic salt. Celtic salt.
It must be like a sea salt then, or
Celtic salt is a type of it, but it is the purest salt. It's gray. It's not white.
gray salt. Yes, it's
Gray
like
salt.
it's because that's that we can get that, but that's that French salt,
Yes.
French gray salt. Yes.
It's expensive, but I ordered from Amazon. I have several bags in there, and I drink like I see how I have the water bottle and it's almost empty. I usually let it
Uh-huh.
get to about right there, halfway down, and then I pour Celtic salt in it, shake it up, and I drink it before I go to bed. Now, here's one thing I find funny. My blood pressure was up. I started using Celtic salt, my blood pressure
It
leveled
just
off.
went down. Yes.
Because
So it's not the
Celtics, no, it's the minerals that's in the salt. Because
yes.
it's the only salt that has.
It's probably high in magnesium and
It
potassium.
is, and potassium and iron, and it helps to balance you out. So all of the
Right.
stuff that your body is missing is in that couple of. So you can take a couple of like a pinch of it and stick it underneath your tongue every day. But it was a little too like it was strong to me. I did the pinch for a little while and I went, oh, okay,
Whoa.
I can't. So I was just like, so I went back and talked to her. And she was like, no, you need to dilute it a little bit. Maybe you need to drop your couple of drops into the water so that you could take it better. And it actually worked out so much better. And so
Okay.
for
Putting
a
it in the
while now,
water.
put it in the water. So I put a couple of pinches of it in the water. And it works out great. It's beautiful. And I'm like, yes, that's it.
All right.
So yeah. Yeah. And so
All
I
right.
do that. And I do a black seed oil.
Ooh, I have heard about black seed oil. Have not tried it yet.
It works well. It does the job that it's supposed to do, but it's about the
Okay.
most disgusting damn thing anybody want to and trust me, I have been trying all kinds of ways to get that to mustard that I ain't found one yet. I ain't found one. I stuck it in my tea and damn it gagged on my tea. And I love me some tea, all kinds of
Yeah.
tea. I would drink tea all kinds of ways. I couldn't hardly drink my tea that day. I was like, nope, that ain't it. I tried to stick it in milk. Nope, that ain't it. Water. Nope, that ain't it. Orange juice is probably about the best. And then stick it in it. But what I do is I stick it under. This is what I found. Drop it under my tongue. Chase it with orange juice. Boom.
Right. Yeah.
Sticking it in stuff.
It's the citrus acid
It is
breaks
something.
it washes the taste away out of
and
your
watch
mouth.
that because I'm here to tell you that black seed oil ain't no joke. But
You
it
can't
does.
take it in a vegetarian pill, the capsules that are vegetarian.
Well, I wanted to get the pureness of it from an oil.
Okay.
It loses.
Oh no,
something
it's not a pill, but an actual capsule that's got liquid in it. Never found
because
one.
I don't want something slow releasing in my. Let's just get the shit over with. Just
Okay.
hit it and quit it. That's it.
Right.
So I do it at night before I go to bed. So I had this little routine where these are my nightly routines of the Celtic salt, black seed oil, castor oil. I do all of that at night. I put castor oil on my eyelids.
Right.
Which has been helping tremendously. And I can tell the difference. Absolutely can tell the difference. But here's one thing I don't want to do. We need to figure out a nice balance because I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor. So I want to
neither of us are nutritionists either.
No, not a nutritionist. Although I am studying part of actually I have completed one herbalist program, and then I'm doing another herbalist program. Actually, I'm doing an herbalist academy, but it don't start until another. So I'm going to complete that and get my I'm getting my certificates in herbalism so that I can have that. I couldn't do this other program because you have to be prepared to do some foraging, and at the time stuff was going crazy with mom and all that stuff, and I didn't have time to go
Right.
and do, so I had to like stop the program for a little bit, and I'm going to be starting the program back up, but I'm
Okay.
maybe in the fall or the winter. But that's just me personally doing that. I don't know how much of that
Will inform.
the program, but I do think I do want to talk basic herbs and basic teas, like
Yeah.
stuff to just get your circulation going for the day. I think that's as far as I want to start until I get licensed as an herbalist.
Okay.
Then, right, because when you start to get into herbs and stuff, that you have to watch what herbs
You mix with people's medications.
yes,
Their
and that's
daily
one
life.
thing I don't want to do that. But I can teach you how to make tinctures and tell you what the tinctures do, and then you go home and make it your own self based on
Right.
your own medical problems that you want to go through. But I can teach you the basics of making tinctures and give you like a little booklet, like show you what a tincture is and give you
Swag
a little
bag. I've been thinking about the swag bag.
right. So in like the swag bag, when they get ready to leave, we can have maybe a little booklet that talks about, you know, here are some tinctures that you can make when you get home. Because like right now I have, oh my gosh, I think I have probably 15, 20 tinctures brewing right now for all
Okay.
different kinds of stuff.
Right.
Like I have tinctures that make my own aspirin. I have another tincture that lowers blood pressure. I have a tincture in there for gout. I have a tincture going right now for cancer. But that's me, and because I'm gonna be giving these tinctures to like my dad, and my sister has gout, and so these
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
can give this to them and y'all feel better.
Mhm.
I have a tincture in there that helps to lower blood pressure. I have one for anxiety to help, like when I'm like, helps to calm me down and like, okay. And so I've been taking those different things and they work for me. And so, but
Yes.
I want to put those in like a little color booklet or something for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then walk them through, because all of them it pretty much is the same damn thing for all of them. You put the herb in the jar, pour some damn vodka on the top of it, can it, date it, and wait 4 weeks. Then take it out, put in some cheesecloth, strain that shit out, and the liquid
Yeah.
that's left over from it, put it in a dropper drawer, just a little dropper. And that's tincture. That's it. It's not like a rocket science. It's
Right.
time. It's time and finding the right ones for your body. So I think that's what I want to talk about more is how do you find what your body needs? So that's going back to
Yes. Yes.
it's going back to knowing your numbers.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know where you are, then how do you know what you need
And where you're gonna go.
and where you're gonna go? So
Yeah.
you need to, okay, so I'm gonna teach you like the mechanism, but anybody can go and to the grocery store, buy rosemary for like $2 or $3, put it in a damn jar and pour some fucking vodka over.
Right.
That's it. Tincturing is not like, oh, I don't know.
Right. Celeste makes her own vanilla
She makes on what?
because she's the vegan baker.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Right. So these kind of things. So I want to teach people that, like, here's the process. And those of you who don't want alcohol, then you can, instead of pouring vodka, you can pour apple cider vinegar over the top of it, or if it's just the
Right.
same thing. Just vinegar. I mean, vodka extracts the best. It's the best extraction for getting it, but it's not the only thing that you can't use.
Correct.
And so that's kind of where I want to be able to teach them the mechanisms, but here is the recipes and what it does if you're trying to handle anxiety. This is the herb that you need to go and buy. This is the, so I got like oregano in there, and rosemary, and I got a basil tincture, and I got nettle
My
tincture.
ex she used to use, and she actually overdid it, and it caused her feet to blister, was oregano oil tincture. And
Yeah.
she just used too much of it. So everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation. So
Nothing off the table, everything in moderation.
and then the other thing is, and then I also want to teach like tinctures and salves class. Salves, people pronounce it salves, salves. Depends on what area of the country you're in, because here in Texas they salves.
Solves.
Yes, they say you put a
This
salve.
solve is gonna solve your problem.
Yeah, okay. So I want to teach them that as well, so that they can, rub it on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, I got a rosemary salve that I've been using and that kind of stuff. But I don't want to go into, like, I just wanted to give them the recipe booklet and then teach them a little bit, which gives them an activity for the day.
Right.
Without having to be a doctor or a nurse.
Yes.
And I want in the book to just kind of say, if you're on these certain medications, then please make sure you ain't taking this, because it will, some of it will actually stop the medications from working.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So here it is.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna stop recording. So.
All right.